In this video, I'm going to be putting 5 concealers to the test to see how they wear on my mature over 50 skin. You're going to see me apply them, we're going to see how they wear throughout the day, and then at the end of the video I'll be ranking them. 2 are affordable and 3 are high-end. So welcome to Beauty by Des, or welcome back. So let me tell you about this concealer video, which I know has been a long time coming. I know it's only 5, but there will be a second episode because I've got so many more to test. Now, I filmed this video over 5 consecutive days. Now, I used exactly the same primer, foundation and powder on each day. So brush, fingers and damp beauty sponge. And in each of the clips, you'll see me applying the foundation, checking in halfway through the day and at the end of each day. And you'll also see them in natural light, and I've put those clips together so that you can compare each one more easily. Oh, and there'll be stills from each one too. So hopefully all that put together will help you to see why I ranked them in the way that I did. So the first concealer I tried was the Armani Luminous Silk Perfect Glow Concealer, and I have it in the shade 5. Now, why did I choose this concealer? Do you know what? I can't actually remember, but I have a feeling that it might have been seeing it on Charlotte Holdcroft. Now, I wouldn't have thought that I'd be able to wear this because, unfortunately, the Armani Luminous Silk Foundation contains fragrance. But interestingly, the concealer doesn't. And I was really delighted to find that out because I honestly didn't think I'd be able to wear it. Because for those of you who are new to my channel, I'm allergic to fragrance and anything with vanilla in it. Now, happily, this doesn't contain either fragrance or vanilla. So I was good to go. And I went into the store to be shade matched for this. I happen to be in Selfridges, as I seem to be quite a lot at the moment. And the lovely assistant matched me with shade 5. Now this costs about £39 and I have the dollar price put on the screen as well. It comes in 20 shades and it's full coverage. It contains glycerin and vitamin E, and now you can watch me apply it and see how it wore throughout the day. Today it's the turn of the Armani Luminous Silk Concealer. I'm going to apply a bit more because I don't think I've got much coverage there. So I'm going to pop some on the back of my hand and then pick it up with my little finger. So there we are with a full face of makeup. Well, here we are, a little later than planned. It's actually been 6 hours since I applied the Luminous Silk Concealer by Armani, and I've just had a look in my magnifying mirror and I think it's looking pretty good. There's a little bit of dryness here, but that could just be my under eyes being dry, so I'm not going to blame the concealer for that. It's now about 10 hours since I applied the Armani Luminous Silk Concealer, and what I've observed is there is still this bit of dryness here. I don't know if that bit of dryness is showing on camera, but that's where I can see it myself. But otherwise, I think it's looking pretty good and it's lasted well. I haven't touched anything up to date at all. So yes, I'm quite impressed. Now the second concealer I decided to try was the Dermatology Luminous Eye Corrector SPF 41, and I'm in the shade Medium. Now this only comes in 4 shades, but the idea behind this is it's meant to be actually a colour corrector, although also usable as a concealer. It's an American brand. It cost me quite a lot of money to get shipped here. I have used Dermatology before, but not any of their makeup, only their skincare. I tried I think it was their vitamin C and also their moisturiser, their body moisturiser, and I did like the products, but having things shipped from the States when really it's not a brand that is interested particularly in selling to the UK, I don't think. It doesn't do much promotion over here. It doesn't make it as easy to get shipped. But anyway, I thought I'd give it a go. But given that so many people have talked so positively about it, I thought I'd give it a try. And also viewers have told me that I should be trying a colour corrector. Now, if that's the case, really I should apply this and then put a concealer on the top. But I didn't do that for this video. But I might consider doing that in the future. And I know I will be trying some colour correctors underneath my concealers. We'll definitely do a video about that in the future. Anyway, so this is the Luminous Eye Corrector by Dermatology. It has an SPF 41. And it's a mineral sunscreen. I think it's around $30 and £30, but I'll put the cost on the screen. Now this contains peptides as well as SPF. All the shades, all 4 of them, have peach correctors because those of us who have dark circles tend to have bluish tones, and so the peach is supposed to neutralise that. Now just to warn you, this was the only one I wasn't able to film in natural light. I had to film in a lady's loo, but hopefully it'll help to give you an idea of what it looked like in bright light. Today we're testing out the Dermatology Luminous Eye Corrector SPF 41. Now, if I'm being really picky, I think there's been some immediate settling here. Let me come close. In the sort of inner part of the under eye, as it were. It looks to me like it's settled a little bit. So we're now about 10 hours in, and I've just had a look with my magnifying mirror, and I think it's looking pretty good. I've been saying this every day with all of them, actually. I think what's different about this one is it's worn better, so it's stayed put. This is the Dermatology, by the way, is it? Yes, this is the Dermatology, by the way. So many, I'm getting confused. But I do think there's been a bit more creasing. That's the only thing I would say about this. Let me zoom you in. Can you see here? I think there's a bit more creasing. Possibly here, but I think the wearing off hasn't been as marked as it has with the others. Yes, I would say that the wearing off's been very minor, actually. So, pretty pleased with that. Now, the third concealer I decided to try was the Estee Lauder, and it's got a very long name, Double Wear, Stay in Place, Flawless Wear Concealer, and I'm in the shade 2C Light Medium Cool. Now, I can't work out whether this is a new concealer or not, because Charlotte Holdcroft did a review of this recently. I think it was this one. And she said it was new, and yet when you look at it online, it doesn't appear to be new, but I don't know whether it depends where it was released first, whether it was released here last. I just don't know. But anyway, I wanted to try an Estee Lauder concealer because, and I think it might have been this one, I saw Lisa Eldridge use it on a model who was mature quite recently, I think, or it might have been a while ago. Anyway, I've never tried an Estee Lauder concealer before. I think in the past I've tried to, but I've never been able to find my shade, but I think this shade was quite a good match. Now, it comes in 30 shades and it says it's medium to full coverage. It contains flexible polymers which help with the moving and stretching that, of course, your eyes or your under eyes do. Today we're testing the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place Flawless Wear Concealer. So it's about 2 o'clock and the concealer's been on for 6 hours, and from what I can see looking in my very magnifying mirror, it's looking pretty good. I can't see any major settling. I can't see any congealing. I mean, if I was being really picky, maybe a tiny bit here, but gosh, not very much at all. So at the moment, very impressed with the Estee Lauder Double Wear Concealer. It's now 10 hours since I applied the Estee Lauder Double Wear Concealer. And I've just looked in my magnifying mirror and I do think that the concealer has worn extremely well. Now, the fourth concealer I decided to try was the L'Oreal True Match The One Concealer. Now, I don't know why I hadn't tried this before, because I absolutely love the True Match foundation. I've had it for years. I think it's a great foundation, but for some reason or other, I hadn't tried this concealer before. And I've actually got it in 2 shades, but the shade I used in the video was, I think, 2C, but I've got it in 2N as well. Now, this comes in 24 shades and it's only £8.99, so it's very reasonably priced, very affordable. However, one must bear in mind that the second ingredient, I think, on the ingredients list is denatured alcohol, the same as in the foundation, but I never found the foundation drying. I have to say, my skin is normal. I should have said this at the outset. My skin is normal. It's not particularly dry. It's not particularly oily, but it is incredibly textured, incredibly lined, as you will have seen by now in some of the footage, especially in daylight. My skin is a 70-year-old skin. So let's run the footage. Today we're testing the L'Oreal True Match concealer. It's applied well, but it doesn't look like I've got very much concealer on, so I think we're going to add a little bit more. And this is after the powder application. And here's the concealer with a full face of makeup. So we're 4.5 hours in. We are now 10 hours in, and I've just had a look with my magnifying mirror, and I think everything is doing very well. If I was being really picky, I'd say it's looking a little bit dry here, but can we blame the concealer? I'm not sure about that. Now, the final concealer I decided to try was the NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop Contour Concealer. And again, I got it in 2 shades, Soft Beige and True Beige, but I'm not sure either of them were the perfect match for me. And in the video, I used Cool Beige, I think. And this has dimethicone in it, which is a smoothing agent. And I couldn't see any alcohol in the ingredients list, and it says it's full coverage. Oh, and it's £8.99, by the way, so it's the same price as the L'Oreal. So let's run the clips. Today we're trying the NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop concealer, and I have it in the shade True Beige. Not madly impressed with that. I think what's happened is it seems to have immediately settled into the corners here, and I don't think it was just me applying it badly. Can you see here? I mean, I know the colour's a bit odd, but I'm not able to sheer it out very well. No, I'm not madly happy with that, but let's see what happens if I put some powder over it. Well, I think it looks okay if you don't count the corners. I think this part is fine, but the corners are not good, and it's already started to separate here. Okay, here we are with almost a full face of makeup. I haven't gone mad on the eyeshadows. I've just used a blusher on my eyelids. So we are 4 hours in, and it's not looking too bad. Let's have a really good look. So I've just looked in my magnifying mirror. It doesn't look terrible, but if you look in the magnifying mirror, and I think you'll be able to see it, it's quite cakey here on this side. Not quite as bad on this side, but a little bit of caking here. So I don't know whether it was my application, and I'll have to look back at the footage, or whether it is actually the concealer itself that's caking. The rest of it's okay. And the coverage is quite good, I think, but the cakiness isn't great, is it? So here we are at about 8 to 9 hours in, not quite 10 hours today, because I started a bit later. And because it was a casual day at home, I haven't got as much makeup on as I usually do, so no eye makeup, well, tiny bit, just a bit of mascara. So I've had a look with my magnifying mirror, And I think nothing's really changed. We've got the slight sort of congealing, well, not congealing, but sort of settling here. But the proof of the pudding, of course, will be in the watching of the footage. Now, before I tell you the rankings, let me run the clips one after the other in natural light. So, how do you think I've ranked them? Let's find out. So, coming in at number 5 was the NYX. Now, maybe it was because it was a full coverage concealer, maybe because the shade didn't suit me, but also it just didn't settle well on my skin at all. Now, I know that looking at some of the footage in natural light, it looks like I haven't applied the concealer very well. It looks like I haven't blended it very well. And to be honest, that may be the case. Of course it might. I'm often putting my makeup on in the dark because I have to put it on quite early in the morning at the moment. So I can't always tell how it's going to look in natural light and whether it's blended properly. But really, we don't want to have to work hard with our concealer. We want it to apply easily and quickly and effectively. So for all those reasons, the NYX has come in at number 5. Now at number 4, surprisingly, the Armani. Now it looked okay. It wasn't terrible. And actually, I'd say probably the next 4 are fairly close together. But the doe foot was quite small, and in a way I found that a bit annoying. I would have liked it to have been a little bit wider. The shade match was good. It looked okay, but the settling wasn't quite as good as it was with the other 3, so that's why it's at number 4. And also it was, I think, the most expensive, slightly more than the Estee Lauder. So coming in at number 3 is the Dermatology. Now it's funny, I didn't think it would come in that high, but when I've looked at the footage, it actually looks pretty good. Now the applicator is a little bit odd. It's more like a serum really kind of applicator because it's got that metal, what would you call it, paddle, almost like a little mini paddle, which I don't love. I mean, I know it's meant to be cooling and all of that. It's not really something that I'm particularly bothered about my concealer having for application purposes, but it's an innovative thing, I suppose, and it makes it feel a little bit more high-end. But I do think the effect was good, and I would definitely consider trying this under a concealer as well. I think that'd be worth trying to see whether it really does colour correct. So that's number 3. Now, number 2 and number 1 are very close together, they really are, but I think that at number 2 I'm going to put the L'Oreal True Match. In fact, I couldn't make up my mind really, but let's say number 2, the L'Oreal True Match. I was really impressed with this from the first go, actually, I must say, just like I was with the foundation. It's a really good product. I think it looked pretty good on my skin. It lasted well. It maybe didn't last quite as well as number 1, but it was a pretty close run thing. And of course you'll have guessed that number 1 is the Estee Lauder, but there really wasn't much in it. The Estee Lauder, of course, is more pricey. I thought it applied easily, it wore well throughout the day, and the shade match was good, but so was the shade match with the L'Oreal actually. even though I had to get 2 shades. So I think it was a close run thing, but I've put Estee at number 1. So let me know in the comments what you think. Do you agree with my ranking? What did you think the concealers looked like? I know some of you are going to have a moan about the application. I won't say who, but we know somebody in particular. And I'm sure that's right, because I do find applying concealer really difficult. I've watched so many videos, mature beauties included, applying their concealers so beautifully and it all looks so gorgeous, and I always think, oh yes, that's what I'll do. I'll get my Nikki Rose brush and I'll smooth it on, it'll all look gorgeous. But in reality it doesn't do that. It immediately presses into my lines and the concealer just doesn't look smooth at all, and it never quite looks how I want it to look. But I do try, I promise you I do try. I meant to say to you actually, which concealer am I wearing today? Well, I am wearing the Estee Lauder, and I have tried to apply it underneath the bone, underneath the orbital bone, as instructed by one of my very loyal and lovely subscribers. So let me know what you think. In fact, let me zoom you in, just to see what you think it looks like today. So that's it. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed this video. And if you'd like to hear more from me, I have a monthly newsletter, and the next one will be coming out next Friday. And in that I don't just talk about beauty, but I also talk about fashion, lifestyle, entertainment, other content creators, and all the other bits and bobs that bring us joy. And thank you so much for watching. It means the absolute world to me. I know I say this every week, but I absolutely mean it. We're at 23,000 subscribers now, and I so love and appreciate the community that I've built here on YouTube. And I hope you're all doing really well, and I look forward to seeing you on my next video. Bye.